Yo, what's going on, guys? This is another video, and it's gonna be about Mewtwo this time. And more in particular, my favorite Mewtwo player there is right now is Mew². And I'm just gonna be going over some of the tech that he does in his matches, and try to explain what's sort of happening and stuff like that. And also, probably towards the end, even though this won't be a long video, but towards the end I'll be putting some other ideas, just a little thing that I found out with Mewtwo that I think could be helpful. First off, I'd have to say that I'm really pleased with the last few patches and how much buffs they gave to Mewtwo. I'm not sure if they changed his kill power, if they made it better or anything, because I know his kill power was pretty decent for the most part, but I notice now that his speed is really fast, which is a huge plus. So the first little trick that I want to show is Mewtwo's wall jump into back air. Now, pretty much all characters can do this, and it's usually a pretty good tool for any character that has a pretty good back air, but it's especially good for Mewtwo just because of, like I said, how good the back air is. Covers up like a lot of space, and it's just good at getting people off of you. When you're doing this though, what you don't want to do is press the X button or press the actual jump button in order to wall jump with Mewtwo, because especially on FD with the slanted edges at the side, you want to do the actual motion on the stick to wall jump, so you want to press forward and then back, because if you try the jump one, it just doesn't work a lot of the time. This next trick you'll see Mew² do every so often might be a little confusing if you don't yet understand how to do it. It's simple, but the timing can be a little weird. In order to do this, you want to press jump on the ledge, and not immediately jump again, but wait a split second, and then hit jump followed by your special move, whether it's Shadow Ball or Disable. This will cancel all momentum you had when you did your double jump, so you can get to the ground quicker and not going as forward on the stage as much, and mixing up your option of getting back on stage. There isn't a whole lot to say about this specific tip. You just go off stage after you hit someone and either wait for them to air dodge, or if they don't, they'll eat a hard hitting punish. For some reason, I feel like this just works really well with Mewtwo. If they're saving their jump, you want to dip down with them and hit them on the way up. If they use their jump early, you want to jump up, fade back, and hit them with the rising up air. The main trick of this is you want to be under your opponent when you go off stage with them. And then after that, it's pretty much all around spacing your forward air or up air. The next quick tip is about following up after Mewtwo's neutral air. I feel like a lot of people try to make this a lot harder than it should be. There's a few tricks to his neutral air and how to combo with it. The wrong thing to do, from what I see some players do, is try to get fancy with fast falls after a connected neutral air. However, Mew² usually doesn't go for something like that, and will usually go with the safe option. If you get a full jump nair, you don't want to fast fall into grab or anything like that, because they can end up randomly on any side. If you let the whole move finish and you drift towards the front at the end of the nair animation, your opponent will almost always end up behind you, which follows up for an easy back air, which then even puts you in a better position for a mix-up or another follow-up. This will work on basically any character at a lot of percents also. Confusion is a pretty crazy move. It comes out pretty fast, it can cause crazy reflecting situations, and it has a really good hitbox. It can also be used for recovering to give you a small extra jump. Mew² uses this a lot when trying to continue combos. The vertical hitbox isn't that great, but horizontally makes it one of the best air-to-airs. Players can air dodge out of this if you're trying to forward air after. A lot of the time they won't be ready for it though. On small characters like Lucas, Pikachu, Kirby I think, and others, this link won't connect because of their small bodies. If that's the case though, you can do up air instead, which will usually hit. These last two tips are things that I sort of found out on my own, and just things that I think could be helpful. First is using Mewtwo's Disable in neutral. This move you do have to be careful with, because if blocked it can be punished pretty easily. Let me go over some of the pluses with this move though. First off, this move has a deceptively big hitbox if you look at it carefully. When to know to throw out this move is kind of tricky. There really isn't a time to throw it out. You have to rely on throwing off your opponent and surprising them. From my experience, it works a pretty good amount of the time. You probably only want to throw it out there 2 or 3 times a match typically. It comes out pretty fast, and as an approach, it's good to double jump before you do it. If you double jump, you get lower to the ground, which means you can catch smaller characters with it, and so you're not stuck on the ground using it. The main thing about double jump and doing down B is once the other player sees a jump reaction, they won't expect a down B to come out so low to the ground, which is helpful with the surprising part of it. There's a second part to this that I want to add, and I think it's actually pretty useful. At low percents, this will work a lot easier if your opponent is unaware. Down throw to down B catches air dodges, hitboxes that won't reach you, and most likely button mashing. Once people start catching on to this, they'll realize that they can jump out. This can also sometimes work after hitting someone with grounded side B. If you know the other person is going to jump though, what you can do is jump with them and hit them with an up air. This last step I want to go over isn't really anything that works 100% of the time, but I'm sort of just messing around with it at the moment. This last trick requires you to fast fall at the right time and only works on taller characters such as Bayonetta, Roy, Corrin, and anyone around that height. Instead of going for a simple down tilt into forward air after disable, I tried to optimize damage output. No matter what, footstool into short jump will always work on the taller characters. After the down air, you want to fast fall, preferably behind them so they won't shield grab you. If you fast fall behind them, most of the time the other player will be scared to hit a button and will stay in their shields. Once you land behind them, you want to side B and then continue your follow-ups. That's all I have for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it was helpful as usual. And I have a lot of future video ideas in mind, so look out for that, and I'll see you guys next time.